Okay. So yesterday we are starting about the business partner, or we can say it as a vendor master. So everyone, do you have a server right now? We will look into yours
Yes, sir.
in an bit. Okay. So everyone has a server, right?
Okay, sir.
I have old server ECC 6.0.
Well, that's fine, not a problem. But you have a server and you are practicing, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, great, great. So basically, if you are having a ECC server, then just give me one second. If you are having a ECC server, so then in ECC server there is a concept of vendor master. So if you are in a ECC server, so your customization or your configuration will start from, you have to go to this logistics general. Here you are having a business partner. Inside the business partner you are having a supplier. Inside the supplier you are having a control. Inside the control you are having this define account groups and field selection. This is for a supplier. Okay. So if you are working in a ECC server, this will be your starting point of your configuration, and this will be all about the configuration of vendor master. Okay. But if you are having a S4HANA server, so this will be your starting point, but after that there will be one more settings will be there which will be needed to configure the business partner. Okay, the new business partner. So this is also business partner, but this is a vendor master only. Okay, but you have to configure the PP also. Okay, so now here the first thing is define account groups and field selection for the supplier. Now execute this one. So here you can see there are some vendor groups are there. So as we discussed yesterday, so vendor groups are generally, these are the controlling part of a vendor. So this will control the number range, this vendor group. So number ranges will be assigned to this vendor group. So normally this will be controlling the number range. And also this is for the, like, we can have the field selection or screen selection for this one. So if you select this one, so these are the existing one, this 0001, 0002, these are the existing one. But some of the things like this 1 dB, 1 FB, these are created by someone. Okay, so if you want to use the standard one, you can use the standard one. Okay, if you want to create a new let's say a new vendor group or new supplier group, then you can create a new supplier group also with respect to like copying the existing one. Let's say you want to create a vendor, you can copy from 0001. If you want to create a good supplier, you can copy it from 0002. Similarly, you can have your own account group. Now if we go to the details, here you can see this is the account group 0001. Name is here, you can see the vendor is mentioned. So this is just for description. Next one is JF. Sorry, next one is number range. Number range is maintained as JF. And here you cannot change the number range. So number range is a here you can see the number range, but here you cannot change the number range or assign the number range. There is a different field is there for assigning the number range to the account group. Okay, now here you can see there is a one time account is there. So if you are using this vendor as a one time vendor, so what is a one time vendor? Let's say you are purchasing the material from a vendor, not so regularly, let's say once in a year or once in a 6 months you are procuring the material from them. Okay, so in that case what is happening, let's say that is not so much important vendor for you and you don't want to save so much of data for that vendor. So what you can do, you can create it as a one time vendor. Okay, so one time vendor account is having a different let's say account group, so you can use that account group that will be having all the relevant settings for that one. Okay, so what are the relevant settings, we'll be looking into it in a bit. Okay, so now one time, that is the one time vendor. If you're not using that vendor is not that much of important and you are not using the vendor that much of time, you can use it as a one time vendor. So one time vendor, basically what will happen, so let's say we are having a normal vendor. So for normal vendor, we will be creating a vendor master and we will be entering all the data. Let's say address data, and we will be entering the purchasing data, we will be entering the customer means the um, uh, let's say the company code data, let's say their bank account data. So every data we will be maintaining for the normal vendor. But for the one time vendor, mostly the fields will be, let's say, display, you will not be able to enter. You just have to enter the vendor name and address, or sorry, address will be also not there. You can just create a vendor, but most of the things you will be entering while you are going to the while you are going while you are purchasing, creating the purchase order. At that point of time itself, you will be entering all the details. So we'll be looking into that one time vendor in a bit. Okay, now here you can see next thing is field status. So these are basically the field selection process. So here you are having a general data, company code data, purchasing data, purchasing sub range, purchasing plan. If you double click on this one, here you can see in the vendor account, here in the general data, you are having a account group, you are having a vendor, you are having a general data. Okay. Now, if you are double clicking on this address, it will take you to the selection screen. Okay. Here you can see there is name, address, search term, name 2, name 3, name 4, postal code. So these are the fields for the address. If you want to change something to the, let's say, here there is a suppress button is there. These are the required entry. These are the optional entry. These are the display entry. Okay. So if you want to suppress it, so the field will not show you. Okay. Let's say I will use this name 2 as a suppress unit. So it will not show me. Okay, and if you are using a required entry, it will be mandatory. Okay, so here you can change the fields to mandatory, to optional, or to display, or to suppress. Okay, you can do the changes. So I'm not saving this one, let's go back. So similarly, you can go to communication, control, payment, transaction, persons, everything you have to check one by one. You have to check as per your requirement. You can take that one. Similarly, for the company code data, you can see account management, account payment, transaction, correspondence. So these all things are there. So if you want to see over, like if you want to change something, you can change it from here. Okay, so you can make the field selection from here. So by the account group, the field selection are also based on the account group. Okay, so you can see also, if we go back, okay, so 0099 is the account group for one time vendor. Someone has changed, I believe. Okay, someone has. So here we can check this one if this is there's something. Okay, so you can see this account group has been created for one time account. So normally for the one time account, the field selection, and you can see there is partner determination procedure, there is nothing has been selected. And here if you go to the general data, here you can see everything will be a optional entry. If you go to, here you can see everything is a optional entry. Okay, so everything you can see it is a optional entry only. So you can see everything is a optional entry. Okay, so we can see it in the ECC server sometime. So we can see it in the ECC server sometime to check the default data. So here you can basically check everything is a optional. There is no required entry is there. So if you want to maintain, you can maintain something. If you don't want to maintain, you can leave it like one. So if we want to create a new account group, so you can just select this one and click on copy button. And here you can select as, let's say we will be creating IT SPIT supplier. Okay. Let's say this will be the vendor ITC. Okay. So the number range we can change it later. So here we can, okay. So here we can leave as it is. So now we have created that ITSP vendor. So we have copied this from the standard one. So while you are working in the, let's say, a real environment, it is suggested to create, if you are creating anything, you can create it under the Z nomenclature. Means it should be starting with the Z. Okay. You can start it with a Z like this one, ZVNI or anything you are creating, you can just create with Z, because as per the SAP suggestion, so they will be creating or they will be updating the data. If they are having some data, they will be using the other numbers or other nomenclature, let's say A to X they will be using. If you are means the standard one they will be using from A to X. If someone is creating something, let's say new, they can use Y and Z letters in the starting, so that it will be helpful for them, and it will be not let's say it will not make any confusion while they are uploading some new data. Let's say you are using the ITSP, and let's say they have also created one more let's say vendor account group as a ITSP, just for an example. Okay, so in that case what will happen, if the system is having already one, like we are facing the issues, right? While we are creating while we are creating a company code, the company code someone has already created, right? So if that is the case, SAP will be having trouble to give you the update. While upgradation, SAP will have the trouble. So that's why it is suggested to take the name as a Y and Z. So if you are creating something, so you can take the name as a Y and Z. Okay, that is basically the standard. So now we'll go back, save it. Okay, so now next one is, here you can have the define number ranges for supplier master record. Okay, so here you can see the intervals. Okay, and here you can create a new interval, or we can see the, what is this, 300 to 500. Okay, so we can use this interval. Okay, I'm not putting effort on this creating this number range, but if you are working on a number range, so you can add a new number range with the existing interval. Because this is an online server, there will be a single one number, five numbers are also maintained in the number range. Here you can see 100 to 200, and someone has created 150 1 to 200, so 50 number range. So these kind of number ranges will not be there in the real system. So you have to create a number range. If you are creating, let's say, this starting from 1, so there will be not 151 to 200, but it will take the full number range. Okay, so this one with the 9 zeros, and it will end with one with 9 nines. Okay, that will be in the number range. So it will be not 510 number ranges like 300 200 number range someone has created. So it will be not like that one. So I'm using this one. I'm not creating any of the number ranges. So if you are in a offline server, definitely you can try to create a number range. Okay, so now we will be using this number range only, JF. So here we can go back. Here we can go back. Next one is here we are having. Okay. So if you go to the number ranges, here you can see for the group 0001, the number range is JF, and we have created from the 0001. So here it will be IT, ITSP we have created, ITSP we have created, right? Yeah, we have created the ITSP and the number range is JF. If you are creating a number range, just assign a new number range over here. Okay, let's say you will be assigning JF number range over here. Okay, now just save this one. Okay, so now we have created the vendor account group and now we have created the number range. So next one is here. Okay, so next one is define transaction dependent screen layout. If you go here, now here you can see these are the transaction dependent screen layout. Okay, so we have seen one selection or one field selection for the account group related. Okay, now here it will be for the transaction related. Let's say you are working in a ECC environment, so there will be create vendor accounting side, there will be purchasing side, there will be centrally side. Okay, so basically this is, let's say this will be xk01, sorry, this will be fk01, this will be mk01, and this will be xk01. So if you want to change something in the, let's say in the transaction basis, let's say field selection, what is the transaction basis field selection? So let's say everyone will have the same field selection for every users. Okay, let's say there are 1,000 users are working. For every users who will be using this, let's say this transaction. Okay, this create vendor purchasing site, so this is mk01. So anyone is using this mk01 transaction, there will be field selection will be same for everyone if you are maintaining in the transaction basis. Okay, if you are maintaining it as a, let's say the field selection is based on the vendor account group basis, so for that vendor account group only the field selection will be like that one. For different account group you can have a different field selection. Able to understand my point? Able to understand? Okay, so this is based on the transaction level you can create the field selection also. Next one is, this is the screen layout specific to purchasing organization. So you can go here. Here also you can set some purchasing organization, and based on the purchasing organization also you can set some of the, like purchasing side you can set some of the field selection on screen selection. So we can go to purchasing data. Here you can see the purchasing data. So based on this you can say this is for the purchasing organization 0001. You can have some selection based on the 0001, or you can have some selection based on your account group, sorry, based on your purchasing group. You can add your purchasing group and you can define some of the field selection for that one. Okay, so this is all about our field selection. Okay, now, okay, now this is all about the configuration for the ECC side. If you are in a ECC side, this much of field selection, this much of settings is needed to start creating a vendor master. Okay, now if you can go to the new screen and you can enter a MK01, or you can enter a FK01, or you can enter a XK01, and you can start creating your vendor master if you are in a ECC version. Okay, but if you are in a S4 HANA version, right now you will not be able to create a vendor master or supplier master for this IT SP vendor account group. Okay, so now what you need to do, you have to customize for the business partner. Now for that one, you have to go to cross application components. Here you can go to cross application components. Here you can go to the SAP business partner. Here you can see the business partner. Here you can see here. Okay, so first thing, here you can see the groups. This one. Is there a master data? Okay, this will be the second step. Now let's go to, okay. So it's in the business partner and basic settings. So first thing, here you can see business partner roles. Okay, and here you can see business partner roles is the thing. So here you are having defined BP roles. Okay, now here you can see there are different types of BP roles are there. So first thing, here you can see this is the 00000. This is for the business partner for the general view, and there will be, so there will be, here you can see FLVN01 is there for the supplier, and there will be FLVN00 is the supplier for the financial accounting. In the real time system, you are only supposed to create the supplier as a this role FLVN01. This is the standard one. Okay. If you want to create a new BP role also, you can create a new BP role for, like, from copying this FLVN01 or FLVN00, you can copy it and you can create a new account. You can create a new BP roles. Okay, so basically these roles are here in the business partner. So there will be, you will be creating a vendor master. Okay, in the general view you will be creating a business partner. Then as per the usage of that, let's say business partner, let's say you want to use that as a customer or you want to use that as a supplier, as per that you have to extend it to the different role. as we have seen yesterday. So FLCU01 will be for the customer, FLVN01 is for the vendor master. Okay, if you want to create a new, you can just create a new thing. Okay, now you can select this one, click on the details. Here you can find this is the business partner, and here you can see the details. Okay, now let's go back. So here you can create the BP roles. You can use the standard one or you can use the BP roles also. Okay, next one is, here we can see number range and grouping. Okay, so here we can go to the number ranges, define number ranges. So similarly we can go to the, here we can check this one. Okay, what is the number range is there. Here we can go to the interval. Let's see if the JF interval is there. Hmm. Okay, so now if you want to create, I'm not going into the number ranges, it will be very difficult to define. So if you want to take the same number range for the vendors and for the business partner, what you have to do, so what number range interval you have taken in the let's say vendor account group, you have taken a number range, right? So same number range and same number, like the number range and the interval, you have to take it from here. Okay, you have to enter here also. For the business partner also you have to take the same number range. Okay, otherwise it will not work. Okay, if you are going to use a same number range, if you are going to use a same number range, then you have to create the same number range and same interval here also. Okay, and now you have to, now next one is define grouping and assign number range. So here we are having the grouping. So here you can create a grouping. So BP grouping is there. So just a second. BP role grouping. Okay. So BP role grouping, it is the same as of your, let's say the vendor account group, as we are creating the vendor account group. So similarly, you can create a BP role grouping over here. Okay. So now you have to assign that when BP grouping to the number ranges. Okay, here you can give the number ranges. Okay, here you can take the grouping and here you can assign the number ranges over here. Okay, now here, okay, we'll see that in a bit. So if you want to take the same number range, you have to create a same number range, same number range interval and same number interval you have to take it. Okay, now next one is, okay, now this one is for the BP number ranges and BP account group. Now you have to assign this BP settings or BP account group to the, like BP role grouping to the vendor account group. As we have created the vendor account group, now you have to integrate that business partner with the vendors. Okay, so for that one you have to go, just, okay, so here we have seen the master data synchronization. Okay, inside the master data synchronization, there is business partner settings. Inside the business partner settings, you will be having settings for vendor integration. Okay, inside the vendor integration, you will be having this BP role category, BP set BP role category for direction to BP to vendor. Okay, this one for BP to vendor, and this is for the vendor to BP. As we have discussed, if you want to create a business partner and have the same business partner number as the, or you want to create a BP and then you want to create a vendor for that one, so this is the direction from BP to vendor. If you want to create a vendor and you want to copy the data from vendor to BP, then you have to select this one. Okay, as per your requirement, you can have it for roles for vendor to BP or BP to vendor. So what is the requirement? We will see. So if you are going for define BP role direction vendor to BP, okay, in that case, you have to come here and you have to define this is the vendor account group. Okay, what we have created, if we have going to see account group is ITSP. So ITSP is not there. So you have to assign this ITSP to the BP roles are there. Okay, this is 000 FLB and 00 FLB and double 01. You have to assign it. Let's say go to new entries. Here you can say ITSP. Okay, so here you can select this one, and here you can select the role as this one. Then you can take ITSP, and you can use the role as FLVN00. Enter, and you can say ITSP, and the roles will be FLVN01. Unless you are assigning this one, you will not be able to. No BP role get implemented. Okay. Okay, so we will be looking into that. So basically, here you have to assign the BP role. Okay, then only you will be able to create the BP role as a. You will be able to create a, that for that account group you will be able to create a business partner. Okay, so BP role category, there is some issue with that one. Okay, so we will be looking into that in the next class. So today it will be taking some time. Define BP role, define. So basically here you can go to new entries, and here you can give a role grouping. Okay, let's say ITBP we will be taking. Okay, so basically you have to define a BP role grouping. So this is basically for your business partner side role grouping. So you have to assign this role grouping and you have to assign the business role or BP roles inside that role grouping. Okay, then only you will be able to create it, or you will be able to use the CVI integration. Okay, so today it is almost time is over, so we will be looking into it again in the tomorrow's class. Okay, so we will be starting with the BP side configuration, then we will be going for the CVI integration. Okay, able to understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so we will be
Thank you, sir.
continuing. We will be continuing from tomorrow. So if you are using a ECC version, then you can start practicing on your system from vendor account group settings. There you can able to set everything and you can start your um, let's say vendor creation. You can start your vendor creation from MK01 or FK01. Okay, so how to create, we will be looking into it in the coming classes. And if you are working in a S4HANA system, so you have to come to this BP settings. Okay, tomorrow we will be looking into the